Creating and delivering persuasive communication can be a very sophisticated task. Changing people's attitudes, beliefs, and values is no easy or simple task, but it can be easier if we begin by establishing two simple rules. When drafting a persuasive message, be sure to have set a clear and persuasive purpose. And secondly, avoid using logical fallacies.
Your purpose statement should always be specific, realistic, and worded from the audience's point of view. In persuasion, your objective is to move your audience to a particular attainable attitude or behavior, so when you are communicating to convince, the purpose statement should target an attitude. When your communication is meant to activate an audience, the purpose statement should stress behavior. Remembering that your main purpose is to have an effect on your audience, a good way to keep you focused is to constantly ask yourself the following question. Will this help in getting my audience and co-communicators to think, feel, or behave in the manner I set out in my purpose statement? If any idea, piece of evidence, or approach doesn't fit this basic criteria, scrap it. If, however, the answer to the question is yes, by all means, use it. A fallacy is a mistaken or misleading argument. The word fallacy comes from a Latin word for deception and shares an origin with the word false. Going back to Plato and the sophists for a second, we can look at their relationship as a battle between true and false. Not all fallacies are intended as deception or even recognized as such by those who use them. Faulty logic may be wrong, but it is often used by people who don't know it's wrong or why. Fallacies are commonplace even today, even though scholars have been dedicated to describing and exposing fallacies for centuries. Let's have a look at some of the common logical fallacies we may still encounter today. An ad hominem fallacy is a common tactic where the speaker attacks the person instead of the argument. Those who use this fallacy as a tactic try to detract from an argument by not engaging with it directly and attacking the character or integrity of their opponent instead. The reduction to the absurd is a fallacy that tries to attack an idea by extending it to its extreme so that it looks ridiculous. Also known as the either-or fallacy, this logical misstep presents the receiver with a limited number of options and tries to force them to pick the superior one of these choices. The real trick here is getting people to believe that the options presented are the only ones available and discourages critical thought on an issue. This is the fallacy of the false cause and tries to say that because two things happen sequentially, or at the same time, that one of them causes the other, even when there is no evidence to establish a connection between these two things. The argumentum ad VERECUNDIAN logical fallacy is known as the appeal to authority and involves relying on the testimony of someone who is not an authority in the area under discussion. The idea is about trying to transfer the trust that an audience may have in a person beyond that person's area of expertise. The argumentum ad populum, or bandwagon appeal, is based on the often dubious notion that because many people favor an idea, that you should too. Sometimes the fact that many people like something is a sign that it is genuinely worthy, but it is hardly a guarantee. When someone fails to consider the facts and accepts or rejects something because they are just following the crowd, this is bandwagoning, and it is a logical fallacy.
As in any kind of communication, having a clear and specific purpose will help you focus to stay on track as you prepare and deliver your message. And with regard to logical fallacies, being aware of them so that you do not employ them is one thing, but another good reason for knowing your fallacies is in the power to identify them when they are being used on you.